and tasty. Some emotional testimony in the murder trial of a bride accused of killing her husband just 8 days after the wedding. Federal prosecutors say Jordan Graham pushed Cody Johnson to his death from a cliff at Glacier National Park in Montana. That was July. The Associated Press reports Graham's teenage brother cried on the stand today. Graham is the woman who's accused here, and testified that he was angry with her for lying about her husband's disappearance. In other words, the woman had said, my husband just disappeared. The last time I saw him he was with some other people. I don't know what happened to him. And then later we find out, well, he went off that cliff. And the report is that the woman also cried during that testimony. Anyway, I don't know. To keep up with the names is impossible. Prosecutors say she initially claimed that her husband had gone off with those friends, as I mentioned, but days later led the park rangers to his body and told investigators it was an all accident. Her lawyer says the wife lied because she was afraid nobody would believe her. She has pleaded not guilty to murder in the first degree and other charges. Lisa Giovinazzo is with us. She's a defense attorney and has been following this along with us. And we talked about this the other day. When something awful happens, I mean, your beloved husband of 8 days falls off a cliff, it would be unusual, it would seem to me, to make up a story about him running off with somebody else.
You know, that's really the crux of the case, right? She came back with this self-defense, and self-defense is an affirmative defense. So now she has to say, okay, I did it, and here's why. And it's becoming very unbelievable, especially in light of the first-degree murder charge, which is kind of significant here, because originally it was only a second-degree murder charge, but there's new evidence that suggests that there were aggravating factors, so aggravating and egregious that they've increased the charge. That has to do with that blindfold. They've been talking about a blindfold.
Tell us about that.
So forensic evidence came back from the scene that there was actually a blindfold, and it had Cody Johnson's DNA on it. Now, obviously, in light of the defense, this is very difficult, because when, in fact, did you have time to blindfold Cody Johnson before he fell off the cliff if you were acting in self-defense? So kind of a hurdle for the defense attorney, who's now trying to get it thrown out or the trial postponed based on getting the notice of this charge later. In
opening statements, of course, we hear from the prosecution and the defense, and they sort of lay out what their case is going to be, as always. In opening statements, the prosecution laid out their case saying not only did she push him off, but they are contending she pushed him with both hands and that he fell face first. Where do they come up with that?
Well, again, the forensics. And she did admit it. She admitted it in the FBI interrogation that she pushed him with two hands. So again,
but she said there was an argument that he pushed at her. She pushed back in what I think she was trying to claim was self-defense of some kind.
Well, that's the problem.
And this is somewhere after the blindfold.
Right. Somewhere after the blindfold, this person was defending herself from her husband. And let's not forget, they're on a cliff in the dark, and she's saying that she could potentially be afraid of him, or she's fending him off. That's not exactly a place that somebody would choose to go to tell someone, I don't want to be married to you anymore.
I wonder how long this one's going to last.
It should be interesting, right?
Well, you know, if she murdered her husband, she's about to get what she deserves.
Life in jail without parole.
Yep, no chance for death penalty in this. They decided against that.
Yes, right. They didn't file. Yeah.
Good to see you.